The most common question: what smartphone should I buy for this or that amount of money? Usually people start with their experience, list all the reasons why they want to buy a new one, just like
my screen is crashed, battery life is not okay, I need to plug it every day, even twice a day, and sometimes it's so laggy, I need to reboot it from time to time.
And finally they say it should have a good camera. But what is a good camera? A lot of people are in love with their budget Galaxy A series, and at the same time my old friend is disappointed with Pixel 8 Pro telephoto lens. Anyway, I decided to create my own list of best camera phones in each price range, starting from the cheapest one. For being objective, I will compare only 256 GB versions of storage and more. 128 sounds funny nowadays, especially if you are going to take tons of photos and videos. You know, prices may vary significantly depending on the region, so if your favorite phone is not on my list, it doesn't mean it takes bad photos and videos. It's simply too expensive in my country or not available at all. And let's get started with the most budget-friendly category, up to $200. Honestly, if your budget is so limited and you really care about photos and videos, I would recommend you to buy a refurbished phone or used phone one grade higher. But if you consider only brand new devices from a store, the only one phone I would recommend you under $200 is Poco X7. For the past 2 years, Poco has made a step forward in terms of camera experience. X7 has main sensor Sony IMX882 with optical image stabilization, so you get really nice photos even in low light. But don't expect too much from ultrawide and selfie cam. Phones support 4K video with stabilization, which is great in this price range, but quality is far from flagships. Next category, under $300. There's only one phone I can definitely recommend for its cameras, and overall it's a well-balanced phone without significant weaknesses. Oh wait. Here it is. One of the best mid-range camera phones of 2024, standing next to Pixel, iPhone and Galaxy S series in the DxOMark ranking. It has triple set of cameras without useless macro or depth sensors. Take a look at the photos I took a few days ago. No extra editing, I just slightly lowered the exposure on some photos and applied some built-in filters in the native camera app. By the way, Honor 400 series are already on sale, but I don't see a strong reason to pay $100 more, especially if you care about telephoto lens. So, if you can find this model just under $300, feel free to buy it. Raising the stakes, up to $400. Well, in this price range things start to get interesting. There is no clear winner as it was in previous categories. However, all the next three phones are interesting in their own way. The Zoom King under $400 is definitely Realme 14 Pro Plus. Do not confuse with 14 Pro without Plus. They look similar, but it's completely different phones. Different set of cameras, different chipsets, you can see it right now. So, if you are looking for pocket binoculars, Realme 14 Pro Plus is your choice. I can confidently say that its periscope telephoto lens is unmatched in this price range. Pictures up to 10x will come out crisp and clear, while digital zoom is up to a crazy 120x. Unfortunately, ultrawide camera is just average, without 4K video recording. And if you like listening to music and watching movies without headphones, Realme is not your choice. It has stereo speakers, they're loud, but sound quality is not so good and rich. The most balanced one, Motorola Edge 60. It's important to note, not a stripped-down Edge 60 Fusion and not a sub-flagship Edge 60 Pro, just a regular Edge 60 without any prefixes. Comparing to Realme 14 Pro Plus, it hasn't crazy 400x zoom, but ultrawide and selfie camera are slightly better. Phone is slim and lightweight. It's definitely one of the most comfortable phones to hold in hand in 2025. I know in some countries there's just a small gap between Edge 60 and Edge 60 Pro, but in my country there's a $200 difference. I think it makes no sense to pay so much more for identical set of cameras, just more powerful chipset and wireless charging. And my last recommendation in this price range, Pixel 7. Yes, it was released 3 years ago. Yes, it has just 90Hz screen and thick bezels. Yes, its battery life is not a strongest point. Yes, it doesn't have any telephoto lens, but the way the main camera and ultrawide camera take pictures is a step ahead all the phones I mentioned before. However, camera system is not perfect like someone used to say. Edge detection in portrait mode is just terrible. Camera app is not quite intuitive. In good light, video quality is great, you can record 4K 60 fps. But once you try it in low light, there's a ton of noise, especially using ultrawide and front-facing cam. Why we are talking about Pixel 7, not 8 or 9? Cause this is the only Google phone with reasonable price. Nevertheless, it's not an outdated device. It has already received Android 16 and will get regular updates up to 2028. Let's move on to the next category, under $500. Second place, Xiaomi 15T. I just fell in love with the stunning rose gold color, but if you look at specifications, it's a really well-balanced phone with solid triple camera system. You can record up to 4K 60 fps, use different modes for creativity, and enjoy integrated AI features for quick editing. However, I don't think it's a good idea to spend money on 15T right now. It was only released a few weeks ago, which means some discounts in the next few months. But if we are not talking about best value for money, you just want to buy right now a best camera phone under $500, I will give a crown to Samsung. First place, Galaxy S24 FE. After the release of S25 series, last year's model has dropped in price and now you can buy it just for $499. Compared to Xiaomi, you definitely get better video capabilities, excellent stabilization, 8K video support and even 4K 120 fps if you are a fan of slow motion. Samsung has way better portrait video compared to all smartphones I mentioned before. Edge detection looks even better than on iPhone. It's hard to believe, but updates are promised up to 2031. By the way, could you imagine yourself in 2031? It's so scary. A fairly common question, is it worth paying an extra $100 for the S24 compared to Galaxy A56? Oh dear, definitely yes. Much more power, significantly better camera system, wireless charging, it's not even close. And what about cons? Well, it's quite heavy, so I would recommend you to go to the nearest store and try it in your hand. Also, the charging power is just 25 watts, which sounds funny nowadays. Let's move on to the next category, under $600. Oh my, there's so many great phones in this price range. If you prefer a compact phone, I would recommend you to look at Galaxy S24 without FE prefixes. Samsung is so good when it comes to video recording, at least in good light, and overall it's so balanced phone without significant weaknesses. And it's not boring either, thanks to customizable One UI with ton of AI tools. If you like big screens, take a look at a new Xiaomi 15T Pro. Comparing to the regular 15T, which was one of my favorite in the price range around $500, Pro model has more powerful chipset, wireless charging, main camera with larger sensor size that improves your low light photos and videos and also gives you a nice optical blur. And finally, a difference worth paying extra for, 5x telephoto lens. It's just killing even Pixel 10. I can't wait to test it out. One more interesting option in this budget, Honor 400 Pro. It doesn't have such crazy optical zoom as Xiaomi, but can improve your long-range photos using AI. Honor was created for those who love selfies and portrait photography. Thanks to collaboration with famous Paris hardcore studio, you have really nice looking filters and 5 different focal lenses. I wish it had metal frame instead of plastic, and maybe a little bit better ultrawide camera, but overall it worth the money. Oh, and I almost forgot about feature exclusively for Honor 400 series. Thanks to AI, you can turn any photo into a video. You can even use any black and white pictures from your old family album. Take a look at the samples. And finally, from $600 and more. Well, I'll start with congratulations. If you are going to buy a smartphone that costs more than average monthly salary in my country, you are a lucky person. The good news is there is no bad phones in this price range. iPhone starting from 15 series and higher, Galaxy S25 series, Pixel 10, they all take amazing photos and videos. Sure, there are some differences in terms of colors, in terms of exposure, but if you are not a professional photographer, you are not a professional content creator, you just point and shoot in regular mode, don't worry too much about the choice, don't worry and don't listen to anybody. Just go to the nearest store, try it in your hand, try software experience and choose the one that you like the most. Well, that's all. If you think a particular phone is unfairly placed in my today's list, please let me know in the comments down below. Right now I'm working on some interesting short videos and camera comparisons, so don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Catch you later.